Hi, Chef Ryan here. I want you to imagine that you get off work in the city and it's freezing cold outside. And on your walk to the subway station, you pass this street vendor that's warm and covered and it's full of commuters enjoying boiled and braised snacks and hot broth. That is Tteokbokki and Eomuktang. Both of our dishes today get their heart or their base from a broth. It's pretty simple. We call it dashi soup. And one of the important ingredients for that is this Korean radish right here. We need about 500 grams of this. So I'm gonna wash and peel it real quick. Now, for the purpose of this broth, we can leave this in really big chunks. Now, if you can't find the Korean radish, don't worry, you could use a daikon. Let's get that in there. Next, a little tip. So this is Korean leek, and the root part really does an incredible job of flavoring broth. But you do have to clean it. I've already washed this one really well. When you do that, you gotta be kind of delicate not to break these roots, but also work kind of hard at getting any sand or dirt out of the bottom. So that's going in. Now, the broth actually gets its name from this right here. This is dashima, or dried kelp. We've got about 40 grams here. Then another Korean star. These are dried anchovies, or myochi. And I've already removed the heads and guts. I've got 8 of these. Going in with 1.5 liters of water. That'll give us enough broth for both of our dishes today. Bring it up to a boil, then we'll reduce it to medium and let it boil lower for about 10 minutes. It has been 10 minutes, so I'm removing the dried kelp. And we're gonna let this go for another 10 minutes and our broth will be done. While our broth is going, we're gonna get some things ready for our Eomuktang. Eomuktang is fish cake in that broth with a few other ingredients. And we're just gonna take these guys and put them on some skewers. Show you how we fold them up here. Just like that. Now, if you wanted to make these yourself, you can. It's a combination of flour and usually a white fish or a shellfish, maybe a little bit of baking powder, and then they're actually deep fried usually. Our broth is finally done here. I'm just gonna take out a few things because they have done their job. This smells amazing. Now this is for both of our dishes. So let's put about 500 milliliters into this pan for tteokbokki. And we'll put the rest, which will be around 800 milliliters, with our Eomuktang. Let's get this fired up. We want to season up our Eomuktang a little bit more. Just a few things. I've got some minced garlic. We're gonna add about a tablespoon. Next, I have a little bit of rice wine. 1 tablespoon there as well. Tablespoon of soy sauce. And lastly, just a little bit of black pepper. Let's just give this a little taste. Make sure we've got the salt level where we want. Okay, maybe just a little pinch. It's almost there. Fantastic. Now, while that's heating up, we're gonna get our tteokbokki going here. Let's start with 3 tablespoons of gochujang, Korean red pepper paste, 1 tablespoon of sugar, just a half a tablespoon of soy sauce, then 1 tablespoon of rice syrup. This is gonna make it really shiny. 1 tablespoon of minced garlic, and 1 tablespoon of Korean red chili flakes. Although this looks so red, it's actually not very spicy. It's more kind of sweet than spicy. But you can find a lot of places in Korea today that will offer a really fire version as that's become more popular. So I brought a little something that I actually grew myself. This is a Carolina Reaper, and it is one of the hottest peppers in the world. And I'm gonna add just 1 to this and see how hot it gets. Now, I don't think this Carolina Reaper is gonna make this whole tteokbokki face melting hot. I think it's gonna be really delicious and very spicy, but it's totally optional. Don't feel like you gotta add this at all. I'm trying to cut it up really, really nice and fine so that it dissipates well across the tteokbokki. Let's go ahead and get this in here. Time to get our rice cakes in here. We've got about 200 grams, and they're all going in. Now that that's going, I want to get a couple of other things in here. For one, some of this Korean leek. I'm going to cut this into about 2-inch pieces. And those will go in a sec. And then a couple of those fish cakes. Okay. I'm gonna get these leeks in and the fish cakes as well. Stir that a bit. Now, once this gets up to a boil, I want you to reduce it down to a simmer and continue cooking for 10 to 15 minutes. And you're gonna have to stir it occasionally. The tteok, or the rice cakes, can stick to the bottom. So just move them around every once in a while. Let's turn back to our Eomuktang. The fish cakes have loosened up nicely, and this is good and hot. But I want a little bit of a garnish for it. A couple of scallions. Okay. Now we're ready to plate everything up. Oh, I feel like I'm out at the street vendor right now. Our tteokbokki and Eomuktang are done. I don't think I've ever been this excited to try all these right now. I want to show you how to build the perfect bite when it comes to tteokbokki. Get a little bit of the fish cake and a little bit of the leek, the Korean leek, and then of course a piece of tteok. Make sure you got plenty of that Carolina Reaper sauce. All right, it's kind of a big bite, but wow. Okay, I was a little nervous that it was spicier than I thought it was gonna be, but that's fantastic. It's going right to that level where it starts to scare you, but then it stops. Okay, I wanna calm that down a little bit with this broth here first. Oh, that's what I'm talking about. On a cold winter day, you walk up to the street vendor, you don't even really have to ask, you don't have to pay anything, and you ladle some of this broth, and it just warms you right up. Of course, you should order something after you take that, but you can get one of these for about 50 cents. Savory, a little bit chewy, and those carbs that you need on a really cold winter day just to warm back up. Oh, just absolutely beautiful.